token. Okay, good evening, WhaleCoin Talk community. Tonight we have Daddy DogeBack, AMA, and here to talk about that is Muller, Rainbow, and DG Lester. So if you could maybe just start with a bit of your background in crypto, guys, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I'll take it on me straight away. So as a group, we've worked on sort of various different projects together. I actually first came into sort of the crypto space earlier on this year. Started just the usual, looking for Elon coins on CMS, seeing what ones I could try to get in and out quickly to make a tiny bit of profit. But I actually met a group of guys in sort of the remnants of a rugged token. We spoke about just how crap it was and how we didn't like how the space was at times. There was very little trust, and for a lot of people who were kind of new to the space, they would be put off if they couldn't be assured they were at least putting their money in trustworthy tokens. We've all been to the point where we've put money into something maybe not made as much as we wanted to, or lost a little bit, but it's got to be a fair playing field. So we actually started a group called Community Coins, where we would have a good theme, fair launch tokens. They regularly got up to about 600, 700,000 MCAP, but we knew that it would be reliable and real coins that were safe for people to invest in. Now since then, we're part of a group called M7. We launched a token that was the sort of original DogeBack, and that's one of the first ones that came out with the Doge dividends, and that got up to it's close to sort of 15 million market cap. But with anything in this space, realistically, we know that there is always room for improvement. Things drastically change, and people have to try different and new things. So as a group, we've tried things that haven't worked. But this one's become a bit of a labour of love for us. We wanted to revisit the idea of doing Doge, mainly because if you can get into that sphere of and the attention of Doge enthusiasts and investors, they market it for you. We were very lucky on the first one. We got tweeted at by Satoshi, the creator of Doge. He actually said he liked the project and the principle. And that really helped us, straight away. Then we kind of soared up. But we kind of realised that between this group now, there's a few members of sort of the original sort of M7 group, but we've also got a couple of others. We've got dev marketing experts. So Enrique is the person who you say, do you know who can do this? And he will have a contact for it. He's incredible. We've got a couple of devs, and we've got Rainbow leading the charge. He's here with a sweet talker and with one with a nice accent you'll hear in a minute. We really do have quite a diverse group, and we're still going along the same principles. We're being transparent with everything we want to do. We're being very open and honest with everything that's going to be put out. We'll seek to advertise in a wide array that we'll kind of go into a bit later. But the principle really has to be the same. We want it to be a safe place. We want people to feel excited about it and not worry, about us going walkabout after the first hour, because this is a long haul for us, and we're excited. We've got new things to try out on this project, and we really do think it's got the potential to go a lot higher than the original DogeBack did.
Awesome. So if we can go over the tokenomics of Daddy DogeBack, the buys and sells, how that's split up, and the rewards in Doge.
Yeah, I can take that. One of the big things I'd like to talk about, which is extremely new, and we're trying to push this on all fronts, is we're implementing a new feature on the contract, which we're calling dynamic tax. So the way that the contract is built, and we have the dynamic tax, is we have the buy tax start at 8%. Every time there is a buy, then the tax gets cheaper by 0.05. So when you think like on good news or on a big pump, the more people buy, the cheaper it actually gets for them. And the same will actually take place when it comes to sell. You know, like when you see a lot of dumps or you've got some FUD, the sell tax will increase. So it'll slowly get higher. We have got caps in place for the lowest it can go and the highest it can go, so it doesn't ever go too ridiculous. But we're hoping that it's quite a new concept that a lot of people will get behind and get interested in it.
And what's the caps on the low and the high? Yeah.
So the low cap is 4% and the high cap is 30%.
Okay, cool. I mean, yeah. And I saw it's 11% in Doge reflections, is it? And 5% to marketing, but I didn't see any for the LP. How's it going to work for the liquidity on the Daddy DogeBack?
So it's a split of what actually happens within the transaction when it's splitting it on the tax rate. There's 60% that goes to Doge rewards. There's 12% to marketing and team. Then there's 8% buyback and 8% goes to liquidity.
Oh, great, yeah.
And that's the split. We're also going to be implementing golden hour, which it'll be a manual. We can use that to manually turn on and off. So when we know that there's you know, a good bit of news coming, or just we want to do like a highlight of the day, we can then turn that on and that will take off all of the tax for buying.
Yeah, and that creates community engagement to hang around each day, you know, when they know it's the best time to buy in, like in the Telegram, yeah.
Exactly that. It gives a bit of like freedom to us and to the dev to be able to just enable that, just to spruce up the day, you know, bring a bit of good news on them when you're waiting for that next release.
Definitely, yeah. And then in the golden hour, will the sell tax go up, or will that be the same? It'll just be cheaper for investors to get in with a zero tax.
As far as the conversations we've had, and correct me if I'm wrong with the team members, but the sell tax is going to be the same. It's just we'll take off the buy tax, so it's just cheaper for them to get in. Okay, if you want to top your buy book, it's the best time to do it.
And yeah, and you're building an anime NFT collection based on Bleach, was it? What's the minting numbers going to be, and the cost for investors to get involved in the NFTs?
So for the NFT side, we're looking at we're in talks with Lutex to try and get onto there. In terms of the size of the collection, we're looking at around 20 characters for the first one. We want to release the full collection within the first week after launch. We've already previewed, like teased and shown off 2 of the characters, what are already created, the early versions of them. We'll also probably be teasing another one before we get to launch. Well, yeah. The way we're aiming to do it is we will have some characters that will have like 10 of that one character. In terms of if you think like rarity, so they'll have like common, then rare, and super rare, and like the super rare will have like some cool effects, maybe animated background, and there'll be a one of one. And we're hoping to build it in the way that it'll be like a loot box, the same as like I don't know if you ever saw like Olympus, how they did it, where and then it just gives you one, so you'll either get one of the common or it's just random. So that's what we're aiming to do with it, with the NFT stuff. We're also got the reason we're implementing like rarities as well is because later down the line we want to release NFT staking, and if someone's got like a super rare, they'll have like a ×4 multiplier, let's say, for when you're staking.
Nice. But with the NFTs, can you actually DM me the ones you've actually released, and I can share them in the chat? Yeah, we've locked the chat. So if
yeah, could you do that over,
I'll post them. Yeah, I'll carry on.
Yeah, so one of the guys will he'll send that over to you. But yeah, we've got a lot planned for the NFT side, and the main thing that I feel will be the highlight of the release and good for, especially when people say like, what's your marketing plan when marketing or whatnot. I feel like if we can get that first NFT collection released in the first week, it's a big win for the project as a whole, because then, I mean, I'm a big anime fan. I love anime. So I get very hyped when I talk about it. It's a collection I want to do. And the main thing is we can get the community involved for the next collection we want to do by opening up to the floor and being like, hey, what anime do you want to see next? What do you want us to do? And I think it's very unique with how we're doing it, in the sense of we're using the base character as the Doge that we've used for our logo, and that's a part of, it's what the whole project's built around, Doge. So it's a different flip on things to have the characters blended in with it.
Awesome. And have you been reaching out to the Doge community to get some support there, or maybe in the future partnerships and things?
Yeah, it's we've not done it as of yet, but it's one thing that we do want to do on launch, especially like because we got support from them on the original DogeBack project. We want to really get established as Daddy DogeBack and then lean on that again and try to get interaction from Satoshi, as well as make some partnerships with the Doge Army over on Reddit, because we know they have such a big community over on Reddit. So we do have plans to interact with them, but we know, especially from previous times, they only interact with you once they know that you're an established project. So we need to get to that phase first and then show that, look, we are serious. We do want to engage with you and get some involvement. One of the other key things, what we're going to look at doing post-launch, which I'm really excited for, and I hope that we can do it quick, is I want to get some anime voice actors involved with the project. So do you know, like when you, like a few months ago, people would get Snoop Dogg to do a tweet, and that was the big crazy hype of it. Yeah. Whereas what I would quite like to do is try to get some anime-based influencers, because they're going to help market us on the Asian side as well, if we can get all of them involved. And if we've got a video of an actual voice actor from one of these major animes doing a video to support us, or a tweet, then I feel like that's going to get the community engaged, but also take our exposure to the next level.
Yeah. I mean, after launch, if you can just send a few of the team over to soft chill in the Doge Telegram, if you can get away with it, that'd be cool. Yeah, and get some investors that way as well. Yeah. So with the marketing side, what you're looking at after launch to get the Daddy DogeBack project out there to investors?
Well, the main thing what I'm trying to push for, especially now as well, is to get into the Chinese market. They absolutely love Doge. It's one of the most popular things over with like Chinese investors. So I'm really trying to push the marketing into that side of it, and to get into Weibo, get into all of the blogs, get into that side of Telegram, to get as many as we can invested. And that's going to create us a really strong base, especially when it comes to dropping good news like PooCoin ads, or when we have CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, like all of the standard stuff, but it still creates a pump and it still creates that popularity. I do also want to get the social media side built up. The way I'm going to look at do that is through YouTube, to get quite a few of the mainstream like Doge enthusiasts to do videos about us. I think originally, back with the original project, we got the Doge Millionaire to do some YouTube videos and some advertising for us. So I'd be reaching out to them same people to kind of do it again for us. So we need to lean on that Doge community quite heavily to get them involved, because we know that opens us up to millions of new investors. Yeah, we've got a dedicated team as well, and we're partnered with the Midnight Show, and we get support with them. So they help us with AMAs, you know, getting in various groups, reaching out to different contacts. The whole team, we've got a lot of experience in this space now, and the main thing is the project we're doing now, Daddy DogeBack, what we're trying to achieve with it, and what it is it's our strong points. And because it's a project we're so hyped about and involved with, we can then take our excitement and give it back to the community. And the strongest form of marketing is just word of mouth. If everyone in your community is happy about it, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell other people, and that's where it spreads and it starts at.
We do actually have some contacts, experts in the Chinese Asian market. We could probably send over, and you could have a chat with them about marketing it in China and Asia. We don't do any marketing here as an AMA group. We do have contacts, so I'll message them to reach out to you, and that could be interesting for Daddy DogeBack. Yeah. So what's the team size? What size are you building with the core team, and then mods, admins for the Telegram? And
so we have 7 people in the core team. We've not got many mods in the main group at the moment. We're trying to minimize it just to keep costs down until we launch. We have got 2 side communities, one being a Chinese one and one being the Japanese one. For each of them, they'll have their own community leaders as well as their own mod groups. But for the main one, it's just mainly the core team is just putting all the effort in to keep it maintained. We do plan on having a mod team once we launch, but again, like I say, we're trying to minimize it just to keep costs low because of maintenance.
And are you looking at audits, and is any of the team doxing KYC from the pre-sale?
We've doxed privately with Pink Sale to do their KYC. So when we go live on there, we'll have the KYC badge next to that. I've also previously doxed on the original DogeBack. If anyone really wants to go search me, you'll find me on a recording from Twitch somewhere where I did a live stream with the footballer. So I am on the internet. We're not planning to do any form of doxing yet with this one, like public in the groups, mainly because it impedes on some people's careers within the team.
Yeah. And
on the audit,
the audits,
getting an audit. Yeah. We're just at the moment looking at what the different options are. The 2 that we're mainly looking at is the tech rate and solidity. We're just trying to reach out to both of them to see when we can get the audit done. So that way, the ideal aim would be to have the audit done before launch. If not, it will be in the first 24, 48 hours afterwards.
Right. So is this a V2 or a version of the Daddy DogeBack that didn't work in the past with another project? Or
no, it's a new project in its own right. It's just when we launched the original DogeBack back in June, it was a very successful project for its time. It was the first that did Doge reward, but it had limitations to it. It didn't have much of utility or long term, as well as a lot of the original team, what was part of it then, isn't around anymore. So this is kind of a new project, but taking from using our experience from previous ones, as well as trying to create a project that now has a long-term plan where we can branch into games or do unique stuff to build an anime multiverse within the NFTs that really keeps us alive, for the long term, where we didn't have that a few months ago.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. You had a good success there in June because it was a tough market on the BSC, crashed and everything. And now it's probably a far better time coming up to Christmas to do a launch with Doge Reflections. Yeah. So yeah, you're looking at games on a Doge type theme in the future for the project as well.
We do. It's in our minds, and it's our devs having a think of how we can incorporate that in. We might have a little bit more information about it on our white paper that's going to be releasing before we launch, but I can't talk too much more about it because that's on the more dev technical side.
Yeah. And did you have a private sale before this pre-sale launch?
Yeah, we had a private sale of 50 BNB, mainly because we just needed to raise funds for marketing. You know, you'll understand yourself, like everything in this space is expensive, and if we wanted to be a success, and I feel like we are going to be a success, we just needed that little booster to get us there.
I mean, if you can get to the Chinese market with the NFTs, they look really cool. Yeah, I can see this blowing up like you did. You know, obviously you've had success in the past. What did the market cap get to in June? Did you say it was in the millions? Yeah,
15 million.
Wow.
So I think we started at like 200 to 300k, and then we went up to 15 mil.
Okay, so then you're moving into the pre-sale. People can win whitelist spots, can they? How can investors get involved there, and what's going to be the soft cap, hard cap on the Daddy DogeBack?
So I think we're giving away some whitelist spots to you guys tonight, if I remember correctly, 5 spots for you to decide for people on the AMA. Other than that, everyone will have to get involved in our main channel. The pre-sale is whitelist only, so I cannot stress enough, get involved in the community. We're doing daily giveaways of whitelist spots. We're going to be doing games. We have got a form at the moment, and we're going to have a Gleam sweep widget up and running pretty soon. But that is the only way to get a spot. The hard cap is 400 BNB. We want to keep, and we think that is a reasonable hard cap to have. We don't want anything too crazy because we would rather have the buy pressure on launch.
Awesome, yeah. So yeah, and the soft cap.
That's kind of using our experience from the last launch, where a lower cap, we can then encourage that buy pressure, which forces the dividends up. We know people that managed to, you know, on the last one who weren't successful in the pre-sale, managed to buy it on launch, and then by the end of the night, you know, they'd gone up significantly because the market cap on release was something like 650k or something similar. End of the night on nearly 10, but they'd also earned a huge amount of dividends on the back of it as well. And that's what we're, you know, that we want that to be recreated and better for this one as well.
It's true, but yeah, when they launch with 2, 3, 4, 5 million market cap, it does put me off from investing. You know, yeah, it's nice when it's below the million market cap, definitely. So yeah, so how can people win the whitelist spots? They can join the community, get involved, and the Twitter and stuff, and yeah, and then win spots there, and get involved in the pre-sale. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right.
We'll be having enough spots available. The main thing that I try to push on all of these is we want community engagement. We want the community to be active. We want to give them enough chances to win and get in, especially the ones that are coming in early. De Glester's like running a lot of the community competitions, so he's thinking of new competitions every day that are really different, bit unique. I think some of the ones we've had is like, he posted a picture and he said, "What's your best caption you can give us?" And then we'd pick a few spots but like the people who submit ones. We've also got a shill group that we're going to start heavy promoting, and the people that join that and do shilling for us, then they've got a chance to win spots. There are numerous different ways. We just want people involved, so it can be a community project that will help us get to the moon, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. So with the tokenomics and the Doge dividends you're giving out, which is very generous. Yeah, how are you looking with the marketing after launch to keep that? Obviously, volume is key with reward tokens. Yeah.
So I mean, from a marketing perspective, we've got, it's very different to the space back in when we first sort of started looking at the start of the year, and it was a case of, well, if you wanted to make it launch, you paid your 0.2 BNB to someone to get a CMS post up, and then you've got enough of your mates to log in to Reddit and upvote it, and therefore you were trending, and then that was all you needed. It's a very different space to that now. Gimmicks of sort of, let's say, endorsement don't always work, don't make a huge amount of difference. So we are using a really wide net of techniques. We've got, as Rainbow said, we're looking at the YouTube pieces as well. We've managed to secure the first ever token that hasn't even launched yet, a space of advertising within the Peachfolio app, which is the portfolio tracking app that is kind of getting ready to take over from PooCoin when their website launches. And that's, like 100,000 people use that app nearly. And that's going to be a case where we are going to be promoted inside their app on launch, and it's somewhere that's new, and it's something that we've been researching. We're more than happy to try new things like that. We've got other things like that in the pipeline. We don't necessarily want to share just yet because it's a slightly competitive market at the minute to get any of that space as a premium. So we're looking at all social media channels, looking at how we share it, and we're looking at that more professional marketing strategy, as well as the tried and tested sort of degen, low level shilling marketing, shill groups that kind of get pushed around. We're trying a lot, and we've got it in a really nice, sweet way of I think a good balance between the two.
Yeah, you've got that past success with the team, in a bear market in June, which is great, and now we're going into a bull market all the way up to Christmas, I feel. So, like you say, word of mouth is very, very strong marketing, and so it's very appealing to investors because you've got that success, in a tough market, and now we're going into a bull market. So the sky is maybe the limit for Daddy DogeBack. That's exciting. When's the audits planned? Will that come after the launch or before the launch? Yeah.
It really just depends. We're reaching out to them. It's how quick they get back to us and what the schedules are like to do the audit. I know we're cutting close now because we do launch on the 17th, but we'd ideally like to have one done before. It's just seeing what tech rate and what other people's schedules like for completing them.
Awesome. Yeah, so I can open it up to the team. Anyone's got a question for Rainbow or anyone else on the team, Muller or DG Lester?
Yeah, I got a question, Glenn. So for the minting of the NFTs, will it be done on your website, and is it with the BNB, or will we have to use the native token, the Daddy DogeBack token to mint them?
So I think we'll have it on our website. We've also been having some talks internally of whether to have both or not. We'll give people the option of BNB, but what we'll also do is have that they can also buy it in Daddy DogeBack. We might just make it a little bit of price difference.
Oh, cool. So if you would pay with like Daddy DogeBack, you would get a sort of a discount. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And are you also looking at building your own marketplace or just use the third party ones?
So we're sorry, can't get my words out. So we're in talks with Lutex at the moment. We're just working out the technical side of it on how to use the API to integrate for actually minting, as well as getting our collection to be stored on there. But a bit more will be released around that when it gets closer to release.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. And are you looking at exchange launches in the future?
Should we just say we're going to go Binance on 2 days after? It's going to be on Binance, you know, see everything. I mean, so
that's a dream, haven't we? Yeah.
It is. I mean, you know, exchanges are a possibility, but one thing I would say is exchanges are extremely expensive to get on. It requires quite a strong threshold because of the amount of places to get on. Some of that can be kind of falsified of course, to push itself on there, but it is obviously something we'll consider. We've got lots of contacts, and we've already started having some of those initial conversations, I believe, with some of those lower level exchanges. You know, I'm joking about Binance in case anyone is listening and decides to try and sue me in a week's time. But you know, the sky is the limit. There's nothing to say that a Doge support token couldn't become absolutely massive and take off, as well as being a force to be reckoned with in its own right.
Definitely, yeah.
One thing I will say,
and there's not as much power in the exchanges as there used to be because the DEX is growing and growing with new investors coming in all the time, and it's going to go mainstream at some point. Crypto, I think we're hitting that 2% mark now, similar to sort of electric cars and smartphones. When they were only a couple of percent, and then it's just exponential growth. And the BSCs, it's an exciting future as well here. But
when you look at what people are aware of in the crypto space as well, if you were to say, can you name 2 cryptocurrencies? Generally speaking, people are going to say Bitcoin, and then they're going to say Doge if they're not aware of anything else. So it's got to appeal to the mass market. Us who are slightly more on the inside of it, we'll be aware and probably more faith in ETH or ADA or Matic, but most of the rest of people in the world, it's Doge still. That's the big market, and that's definitely a case where you kind of mentioned that 2%. That's key. People will be coming in, and what are they going to be more likely to put their first £100 on? Well, it's going to be Bitcoin, and if they've got any left over, probably. And if this was me starting now, it'd be something like Doge.
Definitely, yeah. I was around in 2014 where Doge was 7 zeros and a 1. It was called Satoshi in them days. Everything started with 7 zeros and a 1. I've got millions of Doge and a lost hard drive somewhere. But never mind. I'm still gonna. We're all early here with 2%, and it's going to go to 10, 20% mainstream crypto, so that's fine. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, Doge just was huge back in the day, and Elon supported it. So are you looking at maybe monopolizing on an Elon tweet or anything like that, linked to Doge in the future as well for the project?
It's worth a try. It's very hard to get interaction directly. We were I'd say lucky before with Satoshi, but we're hoping to really make this one something that cannot be ignored. We're looking to make sure that the community is on board, is aware of the possibilities if they were to get involved, and make it a much bigger beast by their involvement. Definitely it's something that we'll continue to try. We know that anyone who's holding a token, if they can get Elon to to make a comment or anything. It's going to be exponential growth for the coin. So of course, it'd be mad to say we wouldn't try it, but we're not making that our cornerstone of our marketing strategy.
Yeah, any sort of Doge tweet he sends out, yeah, you could use that because it's linked with the dividends in the Doge token. Yeah, jump on the back of that as well. Yeah. So, any more questions for the Daddy DogeBack team? No. Okay. Well, we can carry on. So yeah, if there's anything we've missed, anything you want to recap over, yeah, I can send it back to you, Rainbow.
I just want to kind of say a few last words of if you're on the call and you're listening, just get involved. Everyone knows with the BSC, the next new thing is the biggest hype. We've got a new feature what no one else has got yet. Even if you don't like anime, and even on the very small chance you don't like Doge, still just buy in because of the new feature, because it will be big and people will want to buy in just to see how it works.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a great time to launch. So when does the pre-sale go live? Is it 17th of November?
Yeah, it will be live on Pink Sale 17th of November. And we're also going to be doing an AMA with Pink Sale on the Tuesday. We've got another AMA planned somewhere tomorrow. And then, yeah, we'll have one with Pink Sale on the Tuesday night. And then we go live pre-sale on Wednesday. And we'll go, once the pre-sale is filled, we'll then go launch on Pancake Swap 24 hours after.
Awesome. Yeah. So I always say to investors, if you haven't been able to tune in live here for the AMA, message us if you have any questions for the Daddy DogeBack team, and we can get you over to their Telegram safely, the official one, because I imagine there's going to be a few copycats and scams like we always get on the Telegram with anything linked to Doge. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes out for that and protect their community and get them over there to your Telegram. And you're welcome to come back and keep us updated on the pre-sale in the text chat, or just DM me and I'll post that for you there, ready for the pre-sale. And then, like you said, the launch is going to be the 18th of November then on Pancake Swap. It's going to be great. Yeah, it's very exciting, because you've got that experience with the original Daddy DogeBack and market cap you achieved, so the team's working hard, so investors have got the confidence that, this can go far, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of whales aping into this project. Have you got like anti-whale or anti-bot features built into the contract as well?
No, we've not got any anti-whale. It's not really something we want to introduce.
Okay.
In terms of anti-bot, we have our devs having a look into that, but nothing to announce yet.
So there'll be no minimum on the wallet size or buys and sells maximums type thing? No.
There's a minimum. One thing to state as well, there is a minimum on the buy before, so you have to buy a certain amount or sell a certain amount to trigger the dynamic tax. This is so that people can't manipulate it by doing multiple small buys or multiple small sells.
And is there a minimum to hold for the Doge rewards, or do all investors get that if they invest in Daddy DogeBack?
I don't think so, but if anyone on the team wants to correct me if I'm wrong.
Essentially, I can take if you want, or Muller. I don't mind.
After you.
Yeah, so essentially all the Doge rewards go into a pool and they're evenly distributed based on how much of the token you've got. And at current, I don't think we've got a minimum amount of tokens to hold to actually get those rewards.
Right, cool. And is it auto reward straight to your wallet?
Yes, and we'll be able to claim on the contract as well for those that want to. We found it like quite effective on launch. If you go onto the contract on BSC scan, you can manually claim there, and sometimes it's a bit quicker.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for coming to me. It's been really interesting talking to the DogeBack team. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the future. I'm sure lots of our investors would like to get involved. And there's 5 whitelist spots for our community. Thanks very much for that. Yeah, we'll do some sort of Twitter promotion or something around that to give them away to the community. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the future. Like I say, come back to the text chat, keep us updated. After an AMA, you know, as long as it's not a shill post, you know, just the updates and the pre-sale, and yeah, you're open to post quite a lot of stuff and keep our community updated. I'm looking forward to the future for Daddy DogeBack.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for having us. Cheers, everyone, for listening.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, bye.
Thank you for coming, guys.